Amara stood at the altar, her diamond-studded veil catching the golden light, her heart pounding as Richard, her tall and handsome fiancé, smiled at her. Everything seemed perfect. The music swelled. The priest raised his hand to bless the union. And then, the doors of the ballroom slammed open. Gasps echoed. A tall, silver-haired woman in a flowing black gown entered. Her presence silenced the crowd. It was Amara's grandmother, Lady Nena, the matriarch of the Obianwa family, a woman whose icy reputation was feared across the city. She raised her cane and pointed it directly at Amara. "This wedding shall not stand," her voice thundered. "Amara, my granddaughter, you will know no peace in marriage until the sins of your mother are uncovered. Until then, every step you take as a wife will collapse before your eyes. Mark this day, for it is cursed." The ballroom erupted in chaos. Guests screamed. Phones recorded. Some women fainted. The priest froze. Richard stepped back, his face pale with confusion. Amara felt her knees buckle. The shame burned hotter than fire. In that moment, surrounded by wealth, beauty, and flashing cameras, her perfect day was destroyed. And as she collapsed onto the marble floor, the last thing she saw was her grandmother's cold, merciless stare. The sound of clinking glasses and murmured gossip lingered long after the chaos. Hours later, Amara woke in a quiet hotel suite. Her body trembled under the weight of shame. She was still in her wedding gown, but the once pristine fabric was now wrinkled and stained with tears. Her diamond tiara lay crooked on her head, as if mocking her. From the corridor outside, voices floated into the room. Wealthy guests, the so-called high society of Lagos, were whispering like vultures circling over fallen prey. They say her grandmother cursed her. Imagine, in this century, at such a grand wedding, money cannot wash away family shame. That girl's marriage will never last. Every word pierced Amara's heart. She turned her head and saw Richard sitting stiffly by the window. His tuxedo jacket was off, his tie loosened. His face was a mask of frustration and disbelief. "What happened, Richard?" Amara whispered, her voice hoarse. "Tell me this is not real." He turned slowly, his eyes hard. "Your grandmother stood before everyone, Amara. She cursed you, she cursed us. Do you know how humiliating that was? Investors, politicians, the press, everyone saw it." Tears welled in her eyes. "I didn't know she would do this. I don't understand why." He cut her off sharply. "Don't say you don't know. People are already talking. They say it's about your mother, about some secret she carried. Is that true?" Amara froze. She had never heard her mother's name spoken in such a way. Her late mother, Adora, had always been a quiet mystery in the family, beautiful, distant, and spoken of with hushed tones. But what secret could be strong enough to bring such shame? As Amara struggled to answer, the suite door creaked open. Her aunt, elegant in a velvet gown, slipped inside. She avoided Amara's eyes and went straight to Richard. "Richard," she whispered urgently, "many guests have already left. The media is outside. We must control this story before it ruins the family name further." Richard glanced back at Amara, his jaw tightening. "Control? You mean erase? But what if the curse is real?" The aunt stiffened. "It is not just a curse. Your grandmother is old, but she does not speak lightly. She said this marriage cannot stand until a sin is corrected. That is the truth." Amara sat up, her chest pounding. "Auntie, what sin? What did my mother do?" But her aunt lowered her eyes, lips sealed, as if even speaking of it would bring ruin. She left without answering, the click of her heels fading into the corridor. The silence that followed was unbearable. Amara clutched the sheets around her and whispered to herself, "Why, Mama? What did you do that would make grandmother curse me today?" Richard rose to his feet, his voice firm, almost cold. "Amara, I love you, but I will not be dragged into some family curse. Find out the truth. Fix this, or I don't know if I can continue." His words were a dagger to her heart. That night, as the city lights of Lagos glittered beyond the window, Amara stared into the darkness, her world collapsing. Her grandmother's curse was not just superstition. It was already poisoning her love, her future, and her name. And somewhere deep inside, Amara knew. This was only the beginning. The following morning, Amara sat by her bedroom window, still in the Monarch Hotel, staring down at the city skyline. Lagos pulsed beneath her with its usual arrogance. Towering glass buildings, luxury cars weaving through traffic, billboards of perfume, watches, and champagne. Life continued as if her wedding hadn't collapsed before the entire city's eyes. But inside her, silence reigned. Her grandmother's words kept echoing. "Until the sins of your mother are uncovered, This marriage shall not stand. At dawn, she called her childhood nanny Mama Kemi, the only one who had ever dared speak openly about her late mother, Adora. Mama Kemi, please, Amara begged over the phone. Tell me what grandmother meant. Tell me about my mother. There was a long pause on the line. Finally, Mama Kemi sighed. Child, your mother was a woman of fire. But fire can burn even the one who holds it. If you want to understand why your grandmother cursed your wedding, you must know what happened long ago. That night, when the city lights glowed like diamonds scattered across the Atlantic coast, Amara sat alone in her penthouse apartment and let Mama Kemi's voice paint the past. Years ago, Adora Obianwu, Amara's mother, was the most admired woman in Lagos society. Her beauty was legendary, her elegance unmatched. She married into wealth and was the pride of the Obianwu family. But beneath the silk and pearls was a restless spirit. For Adora fell in love, not with her husband but with another man. His name was Chike, a struggling lawyer with fire in his heart. He had no wealth, no luxury cars, no mansions. But he had what Adeora's gilded life lacked, freedom. Passion. Truth. They would meet in secret, Mama Kemi whispered over the phone, her voice trembling with old memories. At hidden corners of the city. In art galleries, on the quiet marina docks at night. She loved him, child. She loved him so much she was willing to risk everything. But the Obianwu family was built on reputation and power. When Lady Nena, the grandmother, discovered the affair, she was ruthless. She gave Adora a choice, Mama Kemi said. End the love affair, or be erased from the family. But Adora refused. For the first time, she stood against her mother. She wanted to leave the wealth, the high-class world, and start over with Chike. And then the betrayal. Chike suddenly disappeared. No one ever found him. Some whispered he was paid to leave. Others claimed he was threatened. All Adora knew was that her love had been stolen from her. Broken, she returned to the Obianwu mansion, hollow but obedient. But Lady Nena never forgave her daughter's rebellion. To her, Adeora's disgrace was permanent. The Obianwu name, she believed, had been stained by sin. And your mother, Mama Kemi whispered, never found peace again. She died with sorrow in her heart, carrying secrets she never told. Amara's hands trembled as she held the phone. So that is why grandmother cursed me? Because my mother loved the wrong man. Mama Kemi sighed. Not only love, child. There was something more. Something Adora left behind. A truth hidden even from me. Your grandmother believes unless it is found, no marriage in your bloodline will last. The line went quiet. Amara stared at the glittering skyline, her chest rising and falling in fear. Her mother's love story had ended in betrayal, shame, and silence. And now she was paying the price. She closed her eyes, hearing again her grandmother's thunderous voice. This marriage shall not stand. 2 days after the ruined wedding, the city of Lagos seemed to wake with a single story. Amara Obianwu's disgrace. On the glossy covers of fashion magazines, where her bridal smile should have been, there were instead blurred images of her grandmother raising a cane at the altar. On social media, hashtags trended with mocking headlines. Hashtag cursed bride, hashtag wedding disaster of the year, and even cruel memes of Amara in her torn gown collapsing on the marble floor. Everywhere she looked, her shame followed her. At Eco Boulevard, where high-class boutiques lined the streets, whispers floated between shoppers as Amara passed by. At Polo Avenue, sales attendants exchanged sly glances. At the Civic Center rooftop bar, socialites sipped champagne and laughed about the cursed wedding that cost millions. Did you see the look on Richard's face? One woman giggled in her diamond necklace. They say the family is haunted. That no Obianwu woman can keep a husband. Imagine, such wealth, such beauty, and yet destroyed by her own grandmother. The gossip spread like perfume in the air, sweet but poisonous. Amara tried to hide behind dark sunglasses as she entered one of the upscale restaurants in Victoria Island, but she could feel eyes burning into her. She wanted to vanish into the marble floors. Richard, meanwhile, was growing colder by the day. That evening, they met at his penthouse overlooking the ocean. He poured himself a glass of whiskey, but didn't offer her any. Amara, he said flatly, I cannot walk into a meeting without someone mentioning your grandmother's curse. My business partners are laughing behind my back. Do you understand what this is doing to my reputation? Her throat tightened. And what about me, Richard? My life, my heart? It was my wedding too. I am the one cursed. He stared at her, unflinching. Yes, but it is your family's curse. Not mine. If you don't fix this, if you don't uncover whatever truth your grandmother demands, I don't know if I can go on with you. My name cannot be dragged through mud." The words cut deeper than the gossip outside. It was not love he spoke of, but image, power, and reputation. That night, Amara sat alone in her apartment, scrolling through endless articles tearing her apart. Heiress's wedding collapses under family curse. Society bride humiliated by own grandmother. Her phone buzzed with messages, friends offering fake sympathy, enemies offering laughter, and strangers offering cruel advice. She thought of her mother, Adora, who must have faced the same ridicule years ago. The cycle was repeating. But then her eyes hardened. She whispered to herself, "I will not be broken. If my grandmother wants me to uncover the truth, then I will. I will dig into the past, into the secrets of this family, no matter how much it hurts. The city may laugh at me now, but they will not laugh forever." And with that vow, Amara knew her next step. She had to confront her grandmother directly, face to face, in the dark mansion where the curse was born.